The Colorado Avalanche won a hockey game tonight, and if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're pretty happy about that. You should be. That's what sports are about. We'll talk about it. I'm gonna break down the game, but there's something that I have to say first. Something that is far more important than hockey could ever be. Black Lives Matter, and things need to change. This is important. This is an important time, I believe, in America right now. Maybe the most important time of my entire life. And I'm not going to pretend that I've run into the problems that so many minorities in this country have, because I haven't. I've been a privileged white dude who grew up in a very white bread America that has had a lot of privilege in my life. I don't ever have to worry about the cops. Hell, I'm a guy who works for a company that covers sports. I'm doing pretty fine. But me being okay does not mean that everyone is okay right now. And there is entire sects of Americans that are being mistreated and straight up murdered by the people in power that are supposed to protect them. And you cannot have that. It's not okay. This isn't some new fight, not this month, not this year, not this decade, not in America's entire history. And that's the problem. That's why I'm talking about it. This is an issue that has come up many times in the past, but in the end it always fades to the background. And if we let it fade to the background, nothing is going to change. I've had multiple people talk to me today and tell me that this has nothing to do with the NHL, and to them I say that's bullshit. Every single citizen of America, many of which play in the NHL, as well as the NHL being an American company with plenty of teams that play here, this is affecting you. This is a country that is built on the ideas of freedom and equality, and it's very clear that neither of those needs are being met. And I'm starting to understand that doing nothing is not helping. In fact, it's probably hurting. This video by itself won't change anything. The NHL postponing games by itself probably won't change anything. But if you keep it up, the more people you have, the more people pushing, you keep it at the forefront, that's how you get things changed. And without it, we're going to stagnate. I don't want to live in a country where a good percentage of the population has to live in fear, has to live with the people who are supposed to be protecting them being their enemy. It's not acceptable, and the only thing I can say is I'm sorry I haven't spoken out about it earlier, because I believe this is important. And I also believe the NHL failed to do the right thing, in this case, by playing this game at all. To anyone out there who's fighting this good fight, I'm not going to pretend like I know what the outcome's going to be or what the correct answer is, but I do want you to know that I'm listening. If you have something you want to say, if you have something you think I should do, please hit me up, let me know, DM me on Twitter, I don't care where, I'm listening. My job is still to cover hockey. So that's what I'm going to do, but I feel like I needed to say that. That didn't have me messed up enough emotionally. This Avs game certainly didn't do me any favors. The first period was a very playoff period. This felt like two good teams going at each other, and they matched up pretty evenly on both sides. The Avs just got the little bit worse of it to start. In a game that is pretty much a must-win for the Avs. If they lose, they go down 3-0 in the series. Getting down early, not great, but that's exactly what happened. Stars score a little bit over halfway through the first period. After getting the puck in deep here, the Stars eventually work it low to high back out to the point, which gets the Avs scrambling and chasing the play a little bit. A quick snap pass down in deep is where the Avs really run into trouble. This is not a great situation, but it's not a terrible one. You see you have three Stars out up high and the Avs deeper in the zone, but the play kind of completely falls apart on them, as Makar, first of all, just missed the intercept pass, which now puts him in behind Jamie Benn. There's no real way to pressure him behind the net. But the obvious and much bigger problem is that Ian Cole just straight up fell over. So your other defenseman is lying on the ground as Tyler Seguin is walking in. Honestly, no idea what Francouz is doing here. This doesn't seem correct. But he's not in the net, and Tyler Seguin's wide open. Not a good look. Seguin is going to be able to finish this one, even as Francouz almost gets back into position. Sloppy hockey from the Avs. In a period that was strong, they make the one major mistake, and that's why they trail after one. I will note, both teams got 3 power play chances in this game, and no goals were scored on the power play, at least technically, so special teams specifically didn't have a huge impact on the game. We'll get to one goal in a little bit, but For the most part, this was a game played and won at, we'll say, even strength, because there was some 4-on-4 play. The second period was the dam break that Colorado has been waiting for in this series. 60 seconds in, they tie up the game. The Avs win a face-off clean back to the points, and nothing fancy here. Zadorov just slides over. He doesn't even settle it down. He just one-times it in. Khudobin even has a clean look at it, but the Avs finally get a goalie mistake. This is one Khudobin probably should have had, but Zadorov just beats him. The Avs putting the shots on the net, they finally get some of that luck that they've been needing. And obviously, that's a huge goal for the Avs, getting them back 1-1 in this game, but it was another goal from a defenseman. The Avs still had 0 goals in this series from their depth, at least for another 3.5 minutes. To finally get that depth off of this weak play, Andrei Burakovsky is the man getting the job done. Off a shot from McKinnon, the puck is skittering to the corner here, and the Avs are actually going to lose this race pretty clean, and Dallas goes to clear this puck. But he fires a weak shot up the boards that is stopped by Nikita Zadorov and held in the zone. That's great, and it keeps the Avs offense alive. He then is going to hit Makar in the center of the ice, going across the blue line to his D partner, and I want you to look at how quickly this play happens from Makar. It's pretty fuzzy, but you can see right now he's head checking and sees Andrei Burakovsky coming up the ice, slipping into an area where there are going to be no stars. He recognizes that, takes the pass, and one-touches it into the middle, right to Burakovsky, splitting the 2 Dallas Stars forwards. And with everyone still down in the corner, Burakovsky has the royal road right down to the goaltender. He turns, walks in, gets to the top of the circles, picks his spot, and fires a laser beam as 2 Avs crash the net to try and harass Khudobin a little bit. Pretty sure Khudobin even gets to see this shot, but Burakovsky is just a great shooter, and he beats him clean. That right there is the Avs' depth that this team is. It's what they were all season long, and it's good to see it back. Credit to Makar for making the pass there, but someone finally finished in the Avs' depth. They need more of it. And that would come, but not for a bit. First up, the big guns had to run the show a little bit. And, oh yeah, Cale Makar's a big gun, by the way. Cale Makar has the best head fake in the NHL. If you disagree, I will fight you. He totally burns Jason Dickinson on the outside here. And then Esa Lindell, just kind of floating into no man's land on that one, gives Cale Makar the room he needs to cut towards the net. A great play by Makar to recognize it, get in there. He tries the backhand, can't slip it through, but creates the rebound. I'll show you a second angle in a minute here, but Gabe Landeskog is the man to win the race and just slip one home. So here's Landy, way out up high. There's no way he should ever be the guy that gets to this puck, but he starts moving towards the net, moving his feet, getting into the right position here, while the Stars honestly just kind of glide around him and don't even really pick him up. So when Makar's rebound pops out, a little bit of laziness from the Stars gets checked by Landeskog putting in the work, and he's able to win the battle for the puck and put the Avs up 3-1. The Avs would take that 3-1 lead all the way out of the second period, and I was foolish enough to think that they probably had this game from there. I mean, they do end up winning, but yeah, it was an adventure. The Avs start things off by taking a penalty before the second period even technically is over, with Nemesnikov putting a stupid hit at the buzzer. That puts Dallas on the power play, which they kill, but then they immediately give them another one. And while they do kill the power play, they only just kill it before the puck enters the Avs net. Stars controlling the puck around the outside to start here. You'll see the power play just ended. There's Landeskog coming out of the box just at the end of that, where he doesn't really have any effect on the play. It's essentially a 5-on-4 still, as this puck gets worked down deep to Denis Gurianov. The Avs, look, yes, the correct answer here is you just can't give Dallas another power play opportunity here, as this one gets one-timed, and it's going to beat Francouz on the short side. On the one hand, you can't give him the opportunity. On the other, we saw Khudobin make a save on that exact same play 4 or 5 times on McKinnon and Rantanen when the Avs had their power play. Look, I don't think Frankie played bad in this game, but I don't think he played great. That performance does not win the Avs a Stanley Cup. I'll put it that way. He had some great saves in this game, in this period as well, but the great ones don't matter if you don't stop the ones you're supposed to save. And I'm not saying he was supposed to save that one, but there's one coming that he definitely should have saved. So the Stars dump the puck in and around here and eventually create a battle in and behind the net, which Kevin Connaughton just loses. He's the first to the puck, he fumbles it, and then there's basically no physical contact here as the Stars just take this puck away from him. That's obviously not great, but the end result is the puck bouncing out to the top of the circles to Blake Como, slapping one towards the net here. Look, hockey players are good at shooting, but this isn't Alex Ovechkin. This isn't Andrei Burakovsky. This is Blake Como, and he beats Francouz under the arm. That's just not a goal you can allow. All of a sudden, the Avs are spiraling out of control. They blew another 2-goal lead, this one in the third period this time. And then Dallas's luck shows up again less than 2 minutes later. It's the Avs' turn to lose a defensive zone face-off as Dallas is able to win this one back clean. There's a little bit more in it than Zadorov just firing the puck, though, as this one gets worked across by Lindell and then is wristed on net, with Jamie Benn screening in front. Benn jumps, tries to get out of the way of the shot. It somehow gets through his legs, hits off of his calf, and deflects in. Nothing Frankie can do about it, but the Avs are now trailing. That was absolutely a case of making your own luck for Dallas. They were just crushing the Avs in the third period up to that point. And I'm sure plays like this happen all the time in the NHL, but they showed it on NBCSN, where Cale Makar, after that goal, goes over to Francouz, gives him a little pat, and I don't know what he says, actually. I can't see his lips or read them, but he basically says something along the lines, I'm sure, of, don't worry, Frankie, we're going to get this back, and we're going to get you a win. And then we finally had the moment. The moment I've been calling for from the Avs since early in the Arizona series, where you want to see your star players stand up and say, we're taking this. We don't care if it's bad luck. We don't care what the odds are. We're going to go out there and we're going to win a hockey game because we can. That Stars lead lasted exactly 1 minute and 15 seconds. Klingberg is going to dump this puck out off the boards here, but in the background you can see just coming off the bench, Mikko Rantanen lurking. He reads the play, steps up, and is able to intercept this pass that is a bit errant as well from Klingberg. And then Klingberg eats it, and all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 situation as he feeds off to McKinnon and they get across the blue line. Rantanen recognizes the situation, and he's already crossing over, powering off to the other side of the ice to make it as hard as possible. 1, to defend, and 2, for Khudobin to read. McKinnon doesn't even really try to fake him out. You can see he's already looking at Rantanen here. He knows he can get the pass through. He does get the pass through, and finally, been way too much of weak shots, missed shots, messed up shots by Rantanen. Not this one. Not in this moment, and not at this time. He unleashes the patented one-timer, and Khudobin just never has a chance. God, they're good at hockey, aren't they? Sometimes plays just speak for themselves, and that's one of them. All of a sudden, it's the Stars making mistakes and the Avs capitalizing, and it's the Avs making their own good luck later in the third. The Stars had done their part. The Stars meaning McKinnon and Rantanen, the Avs' best players, not the Dallas Stars. Yeah, that's a weird one. Now it was time for the depth to show up again. And it did this time. Probably not a high percentage play. If you absolutely need to score a goal, maybe not the play I would recommend, but sometimes it works. The Avs end up winning a puck battle down in the corner. Chaos has ensued there as Makar works it across to Kevin Connaughton. Connaughton collects, gets a couple steps in, and fires a wrister, we'll say in the general direction of the net. I don't think this was actually going to hit the net, but Kadri is there. And Kadri, sweeping across, uncontested, gets his stick out there, has some pretty good hand-eye coordination, gets his stick on this one, and it's the perfect tip. Khudobin gets caught going across, and the Avs take the lead. That is championship resiliency. That is finding the way to win a game. The Avs do manage to hold the fort from there on out with all of the momentum. Eventually, dumping one into the empty net is PEB, and the final is 6-4. Series is 2-1 Dallas, but we have ourselves a series. The Avs won the biggest game of their season so far. Now they just have to go out and do it again on Friday. I'm sure this video is getting long at this point, so we'll call it there. Just keep in mind, there are things in the world that are much more important than hockey. Be glad about the Avs winning. I am. I'm glad that more Avs hockey is probably coming. But for me, personally, if it came down to hockey being canceled, helping people live lives safer, freer, and, not getting murdered in the streets, then I'd be for it. That's the end of this one. Thank you for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one. DNVR.com. Y'all already know all of that. Black Lives Matter. I'm out of here.